Before you fill up your car again, stop for a moment. Most people do something right before pumping gas that slowly damages their fuel system, wears out sensors, and even raises the risk of a dangerous vapor fire. And in 2026, this problem is getting even worse because modern engines, tighter emission systems, and stricter EVAP monitoring make small mistakes far more expensive than they used to be. If you've ever wondered why your car suddenly throws codes, idles rough, or loses fuel economy after a fill-up, the real reason is usually hidden in tiny habits drivers repeat every week without thinking. Today, I'll show you the updated 2026 safe routine that expert mechanics follow, what to avoid at the pump, and how to protect your fuel system for tens of thousands of extra miles. Stick with me until the end, because the final tip is one most drivers get wrong, and fixing it can literally prevent a vapor flash fire at the pump. 11. The dashboard lie that destroys your fuel pump. Trusting the miles to empty number on your dashboard is the final mistake that quietly leads to fuel pump overheating, injector clogging, and increased risk of vapor pockets forming inside the tank. That number isn't a precise measurement, it's an estimate based on your recent driving behavior. If you've been driving on the highway, the estimate can be overly optimistic. If you've been idling or driving uphill, it can swing in the opposite direction. As fuel levels get extremely low, sediment, rust flakes, and moisture at the bottom of the tank get pulled into the pump and fuel lines. This is the dirtiest fuel your engine will ever sip, and modern injectors are extremely sensitive to contamination. In hot weather, running too low increases the chance of vapor lock. In cold weather, low fuel makes ice crystals more likely to form. Fuel pumps are also cooled by gasoline, meaning a nearly empty tank exposes them to heat that shortens their lifespan dramatically. Instead of trusting the estimate, treat 1/4 tank as your true empty line. This habit alone adds years to your pump's life and prevents multiple hidden problems. Now that you know these key mistakes, here's the next one drivers never expect. 10. The gas cap click that saves you hundreds. Not tightening the gas cap properly is one of the most common reasons for check engine lights, and it's unbelievably easy to prevent. A loose or worn cap allows air to slip into the fuel system, which the EVAP sensors detect as a vapor leak. This disrupts pressure levels and triggers a code that makes many drivers panic. The system cannot seal correctly if the cap isn't tightened fully, causing fuel vapors to escape and wasting gasoline slowly over time. Modern capless systems must also remain clean for the flap to seal correctly. Dust or debris prevents proper closure, leading to similar issues. In 2026, EVAP monitoring is stricter than ever, meaning even minor leaks trigger warning lights more quickly. The solution is simple. Turn the gas cap until you hear at least 3 clicks, or if it's capless, wipe the opening and ensure the flap snaps shut. Replacing the cap every few years prevents rubber seal failure. This tiny habit can prevent unnecessary diagnostic tests and false alarms. And if a small twist can prevent so many problems, wait until you see how your parking angle secretly affects every fill-up. 9. The pump angle trick that puts money back in your tank. Parking at the wrong angle while fueling is a mistake most drivers never consider, yet it directly affects how much fuel you actually get. Your car's fuel filler neck is designed to allow trapped air to escape smoothly as the tank fills. But if your vehicle is parked on a slant, especially with the filler side higher than the tank, air gets trapped inside. This forces the pump to click off early, causing you to pay for space where air remains instead of fuel. You can lose up to half a gallon depending on the angle of the slope. For SUVs and trucks with larger tanks, the loss can be even greater. The correct position is to keep the fuel cap side level or slightly lower than the opposite side to help air escape upward through the filler neck. Avoid pumps built on raised curbs or slanted driveways. In 2026, with rising fuel prices, filling on level ground is an easy way to keep every dollar of fuel you're paying for. And if angle matters more than most people realize, the timing of additives is even more critical. 8. The additive timing mistake that makes cleaners useless. Pouring fuel additives right before filling up might seem convenient, but it actually weakens the effectiveness of the product. Most fuel cleaners need time to mix gradually with the fuel already inside the tank, allowing the engine to distribute the cleaner evenly through injectors and valves. When you dump an additive and then immediately pump gas, the rushing fuel churns the additive rapidly, causing it to foam and trap air. This reduces its ability to clean properly. Some additives, especially strong detergents containing PEA, can react with oxygen when exposed during pumping, forming sticky residue that reduces their cleaning strength. For modern direct injection engines in 2026, proper additive distribution is even more important because injectors sit inside the combustion chamber and face extreme temperatures. The correct method is to add the cleaner before your next drive, not before refueling. This ensures it mixes naturally as the car moves and fuel sloshes. Choose reputable brands rather than random bottles from the checkout shelf. Using the wrong additive at the wrong moment may clog injectors or damage seals instead of helping. Now let's talk about the moment you should absolutely avoid at any gas station. 7. The tanker truck trap that sends dirt straight into your engine. Filling up right after the tanker truck has delivered fuel is a mistake that even experienced drivers unknowingly make. When the tanker drops fuel into the underground tanks, it stirs up everything settled at the bottom: dirt, rust, sediment, and sometimes water. All of this debris becomes suspended in the fuel temporarily, and if you pump gas during this window, you're essentially filling your tank with contaminated fuel. Contamination affects injectors, fuel rails, and combustion quality, especially in modern direct injection engines with tiny spray holes that clog easily. Studies show vehicles filled within 2 hours of a station delivery experience far higher contamination levels. The best move is to avoid stations with a tanker present or return later, ideally after 4 to 6 hours, when the sediment is settled again. High-traffic stations tend to have cleaner fuel because turnover is faster, meaning less time for debris to collect. A small timing decision can prevent major injector repairs. While delivery timing matters, so does how much fuel you leave in your tank between fill-ups. 6. The quarter tank rule that extends your fuel pump's life. Driving with the tank close to empty may feel like a way to stretch money, but it's one of the fastest ways to wear out your fuel pump. Modern pumps sit inside the tank and rely on liquid fuel to stay cool and lubricated. When the tank runs low, the pump is exposed to heat and air, causing it to run hotter, work harder, and wear out faster. Engineering data shows that regularly driving below 1/4 tank can increase pump wear by over 60%. Sediment at the bottom of the tank also gets stirred into the fuel lines when levels run too low, which can clog injectors and filters over time. In 2026, pumps have become more compact and more efficient, but they are also more heat sensitive, making low fuel driving even riskier. The best habit is to refill when the gauge reaches 1/4 tank rather than waiting for the warning light. This protects the pump, prevents vapor lock in hot weather, and reduces moisture buildup in cold climates. Simple habit, big payoff. And speaking of timing and precision, the next mistake doesn't involve fuel level, but your actual fuel choice. If you're finding this helpful so far, take a moment to hit the subscribe button, because I post straightforward car care videos that save you money, prevent repairs, and help you avoid the hidden mistakes most drivers never learn about. Subscribing helps the channel grow, and it makes sure you never miss the next set of simple tips that can add years to your engine's life. 5. The wrong fuel warning that most drivers ignore. Ignoring the fuel grade label is a mistake that directly affects engine performance, especially in modern vehicles with advanced ignition timing. High-performance engines requiring fuel depend on high octane to prevent knocking, while regular engines are tuned specifically for 87 octane and don't benefit from higher grades. Using the wrong octane confuses the knock sensors, leading to timing adjustments that reduce power, cause hotter combustion, and increase carbon buildup. Ethanol content matters too. While E10 is normal, many stations now offer E15 or E85, which can damage seals, fuel lines, and pumps in cars not built for them. In 2026, emission systems are even more sensitive, and using the wrong blend can trigger a cascade of issues from rough idle to long-term injector wear. Always check the gas cap or owner's manual for the correct grade and avoid mixing fuel types.
If the car sits for long periods, use non-ethanol fuel or a stabilizer to prevent varnish buildup. Fuel choice affects everything from efficiency to the lifespan of your catalytic converter.
While picking the wrong fuel hurts performance, the next mistake could put you in real danger at the pump. 4. The phone at the pump hazard nobody talks about. Using your phone during refueling isn't dangerous because of the cellular signal. It's dangerous because it increases static buildup. When you grab your phone, especially while wearing synthetic clothing or after getting back into your car, your body can accumulate static electricity. Gasoline vapors around the nozzle and metal surfaces can ignite from even a tiny static discharge at the worst moment. Investigations from fire departments found that many gas pump incidents happened when drivers re-entered their vehicle mid-fuel, touched their phone, and returned to the nozzle immediately afterward. In 2026, synthetic athletic wear, winter jackets, and touchscreen gloves have increased static buildup even more. To stay safe, leave your phone inside the car, or at least avoid handling it until fueling is complete. Touch a metal portion of your vehicle before reaching for the nozzle to discharge static safely. If you must use your phone, step away from the pump first. What most drivers don't realize is that stray static can also cause temporary misread in sensitive EVAP sensors during refueling. A simple habit change solves all of this. Now, let's move to a mistake that surprises drivers because they think the danger is only about overfilling. 3. The pressure blast mistake hiding in your gas cap. Opening the gas cap too quickly seems harmless, but it can force pressure out of the tank so aggressively that it disrupts vapor sensors and startles drivers with a sudden blast of fumes. When the tank warms during driving, pressure naturally builds. Twisting the cap open in one fast motion releases vapor instantly, sending and rushing through EVAP lines not prepared for sudden flow. This can confuse pressure sensors, leading to false leak codes or erratic readings that trigger the check engine light. For vehicles built after 2020, pressure sensors have become more exact, meaning small surges are more likely to cause issues than older systems ever did. The correct technique is simple. Twist slowly until you hear a faint hiss, pause to let pressure normalize, and then remove the cap fully. This mirrors the method used by professional mechanics when inspecting fuel systems because it protects sensors and prevents sudden vapor surges. It also prevents fumes from blowing directly toward your face, especially on hot days when pressure peaks. A few controlled seconds can prevent a lot of wasted diagnostics. Speaking of wasted money, the next mistake destroys an expensive emissions part faster than any other. 2. The topping off habit that ruins your EVAP system. Topping off the tank after the pump clicks is a habit so many drivers defend because they want a full tank, but that extra squeeze is where expensive damage begins. When the nozzle clicks, it's detecting pressure that signals the tank is at a safe fill level. Adding more fuel after that pushes liquid gasoline into the EVAP lines and directly into the charcoal canister, which is designed only for vapor, not liquid. Once the charcoal becomes soaked, it clogs, restricts airflow, and throws multiple codes related to vapor pressure. The engine compensates by running richer or leaner than intended, causing rough idle, reduced fuel economy, and increased emissions. In 2026, charcoal canisters are even more sensitive due to stricter evaporative regulations, and replacements can cost anywhere from $500 to over $1,200 depending on your vehicle. Many dealerships deny warranty claims when they identify topping off damage because it's considered avoidable. The right move is to stop filling immediately when the nozzle clicks, even if the tank isn't visually full. The pressure system knows better than your eyes. And now we finally reach the #1 mistake that puts your safety in your car at the biggest risk. 1. Engine running danger that could ignite vapors instantly. Leaving the engine running while pumping gas sounds harmless, but it's one of the most common mistakes drivers still make, especially during quick errands or cold mornings.
When the engine runs, the alternator, ignition coils, and electrical connections all produce tiny sparks that are normally contained safely under the hood, but gasoline vapors are heavier than air and sink around the pump nozzle. As vapors collect, they can drift toward hot engine components or static sources, creating a rare but real ignition risk. The problem is worse in 2026 because newer cars use high-pressure direct injection systems that generate more heat under the hood, keeping components hotter for longer. At the same time, refueling with the engine on can confuse the EVAP system, which monitors vapor flow. This may cause rough idle, unexpected stalls, or false leak codes immediately after filling up. The safest routine is simple. Shut off the engine fully, remove the key or turn off push start mode completely, and wait a brief moment before opening the cap so vapors can settle. It's the first and most important step in any safe refueling routine. Now that you've mastered all 11 mistakes, here's your final takeaway. Thanks for watching, and I hope these simple but powerful tips help you avoid expensive mistakes every time you refuel. For more car care videos that save you money and stress, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for the next guide. Click any of these videos on your screen, and I'll see you in a moment.